we are going to be taking a dive into our friend SireK0zy's videos, which is another history of kind of channel. Today we're doing the history of Pig. Cozy is in here at least once a week. Very, very kind, down-to-earth, wonderful individual. So now more than ever, make sure you hit that link that just showed up in the Twitch chat. If you're in YouTube in the future, it'll be down in the description below to help support a homie that's been nice and wonderful to us. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the history of Pigu.
Some people were unhappy that instead of John Kramer or Hoffman as the chapter killer, they got Amanda. While others
What's wrong with Amanda? Amanda's a fantastic kill. What? Was that a thing? I mean, I wasn't around for this. People were upset with Amanda. I thought Amanda was incredibly popular and for good reason. Yeah, exactly, Liz. Who was unhappy? Who was unhappy? Huh? Yeah, I thought she's a fantastic choice. Interesting.
that Amanda's power wasn't true to the source material, because she never used reverse bear traps in the movies. And I wish I could say that it was the only issue with her power.
Disappointed first, really fire. That's crazy.
Not true. To start with, as a stealth killer, the old pig surprisingly had trouble staying stealthy. The main reason for this was that before patch 3.3.1, the crouch mode didn't grant her the undetectable status effect, which means that survivors could easily track her through their aura reading perks. The most devastating
that's a problem.
thing of them was the old object of obsession, which used to reveal
that's an issue.
They were practically map-wide when you looked in their direction while also being outside of their terror radius.
Poor Bigu.
I can see you. I can see you when you're crouching, bro. What the hell?
This is
pain.
pain.
This broken? Like what? She's like slower too. And you're about a volt? Okay, never mind, bro. Like it. Oh my god, this is impossible, bro. Okay, going straight, bro. Like I don't know, man. This is broken. She's not a stealth. Like,
yeah, it's still paid though, Sticky.
Second, originally when the pig switched to the ambush mode, her terror radius used to take much longer to fade out, 6.6 seconds to be exact. And if this number just struck you as something absolutely obnoxious,
yeah, that's really long.
Because it was exactly my reaction. In fact, the idea of spending almost 7 seconds in order to hide your terror radius seemed so unhinged to me that my brain literally refused to believe it until I saw this myself. Yeah, get up. Can you stand up? Stand up. Yeah. Let's do this again. Crouch. Yeah, like this.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Okay, I can see like the idea, right? The idea is probably like, hey, like it sounds like she's walking away. So if she's like behind a wall or something, it sounds like she's walking away instead of just activating her stealth ability. But like, it's way better just to immediately remove the terror radius. Like, the idea is there, but it's not a good one. It's not a good idea. It's not a good one.
Well, it says like 6.2. Well, assuming that I probably mistimed the click. Yeah, I guess it's like 6.6. So basically, if you wanted to sneak up on a survivor without being detected too early, you had to start crouching way in advance, because otherwise they would hear your lingering terror radius and reposition before you could even see them. Moreover, back then the pig could compromise her own stealth by simply searching a locker, because for some reason the guys made it so that it broke her out of the ambush mode.
Come on, bro, disappear. It's still there, bro.
Finally, okay. Open it. Open, yeah. And it's back.
That's so dumb.
That's strange.
That's
Why
stupid.
did they do it like this?
Another problem of the old pig was her long crouching animation. At the release, it used to last 2 seconds, which wasn't that big of a deal if you were outside of the chase where speed didn't matter as much. But during the chase, it was a whole different ballgame. No, it wasn't like with the first version of the Trapper or Hag, where their trap setting animation was so long, it literally allowed survivors to run away to a different map.
Painful.
But having to spend 2
map.
seconds every time you wanted to perform an ambush attack in the loop made the pig feel so clumsy. I swear behavior should have named her the Sloth instead.
Like, loops even on the old game were kind of broken.
Yeah, they were.
No way, bro. Is this actually how long she takes?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh my god. This is... Honestly, man... wow. Honestly, like, this animation... This is something you would expect from, like, a 90 years old dude.
Yeah, here's the thing, is like, this is like the main meta with the character now, which is like, you know, go back and forth between am I going to dash you or am I just going to stand up? So like half of that just like bad. Just crazy.
An actual agile young lady.
Bro, like honestly, would it kill them to like make her crouch as fast as Ghostface? Would it be like that game breaking? Additionally, back in the day, the pig's reverse bear traps barely fulfilled their purpose as the inbuilt gen slowdown.
Yeah,
It
thankfully,
happened because the devs didn't
thankfully
think
this
through
isn't
the
a very good
mechanics
spot
determined
health
after
wise.
how many attempts
And I'll say this, like, Pig, what they need to focus on, and if they want to make her not like a bottom 5 killer, is just kind of adjust her stealth and chase ability, because her hats are actually in a perfect spot. I think her hats are the best they will be. The only thing I'd probably remove is like the interrupt scream thing, but that's more for game health reasons and not balance reasons. But yeah, I think the hats are finally in a good spot.
remove the traps. The general principle behind
Yeah,
it
would that be
goes
so
like
bad,
this.
artists?
At the start of every match, the
I don't know
game
if that'd be-
sets the
I don't know if that
overall
would
number
be-
of jigsaw
I don't know
boxes
if that'd be
survivors
unhealthy,
need
to be honest.
search through in order to find the keys for all the pig's traps. Then this number is randomly split between the number of these traps, and that's how each of them knows when to give survivors the key. The problem was that before patch 6.0, the minimum number of box searches per trial was 4, which divided by 4 traps the pig had by default gave 1. Meaning that in this case, every single one of your traps could be removed on the first try.
I mean, I think that like if you want my opinion on that, JV, I think it would be like a mixture of both, like a halfway point between the two of them, between what it is now and Ghostface's. Yeah, I feel like it would a happy medium would probably be the best there.
Regardless of which survivor it was and which jigsaw box they chose to go to. So much for slowdown.
Even though the video is fine,
Can
I
we
don't know
get
why
it
it
on
does
the
that.
first attempt, bro? Finally, the RNG gods heard me. You know what would be cool? If we actually had like more survivors, and all of them went to like their own jigsaw boxes, and all of them would be able to like get rid of the traps simultaneously. That would be a cool clip.
Quick note here, after reading the Pig's patch notes another time, I started doubting that I got all this trap meth right, because this is super
Trap meth?
complicated and there's no
Trap
straightforward
meth?
explanation of how it used
DNA
to work
solves Drogas?
originally. So if you're watching this video and you've noticed some mistakes, or you know something that I don't know, feel free to correct me in the comments. The maximum possible number of box search attempts per trial was 16. In this case, removing each trap would require survivors to go through 4 jigsaw boxes, and this is where the got real, because the original pig had only 4 jigsaw boxes and not 5 like today, which means that she could force a bear trap kill by
This
body
was so
blocking
dumb.
one random jigsaw
What is
box.
with this character and like being so weak, but always having some sort of just like egregiously annoying strat that makes her like really toxic and from a quality of life standard to play? like this is like the history of this character is just like, yeah, I'm really bad, but I can do this one thing that's really obnoxious and makes you want to just like go next all the time. Like it is just, they need to end it. They need to end the cycle. Is what I'm learning. Is what I'm hearing here. They need to end the cycle.
Way it became
It's the character, if you ask
impossible
me.
to interact with, leaving the trapped survivor with only 3 searchable boxes, which as you can understand wasn't enough to get rid of the trap. So if you ended up on the receiving end of this bolt, you were pretty much fucked, because sooner or later your teammates would start facing
That really fits
gens,
the
which
Saul
would
lore.
set off the trap countdown and eventually kill you. Personally, I learned about this exploit the hard way. It happened right at the release. I got into a match versus a pretty popular streamer who was playing as the pig. Long story short, they teamed up with one of the survivors in order to make the rest of us gamble and see if we could find the keys for our traps in the first 3 boxes. Those of us who got lucky were allowed to escape, and those that weren't had to face a slow death from the reverse bear trap. And while I do admit that it was pretty creative, because we were basically suggested to play a game just like in the movie, it was also super frustrating.
Yeah, you
Point
gotta
out-
be careful with this, because this is essentially the route they went when they reworked Sadako. It like forced this gameplay, and we all know Sadako matches are not a fun ordeal. Definitely not a fun ordeal. Because like it used to be that like she was really bad, and then there were some people that like participated in like the force condemned stuff that was really annoying. Now Sadako's naturally perform that gameplay. Naturally, which is like, you know why, Plum? Because it's not so like, regardless of how you feel about the quality of life and how healthy it was for the game, old condemned Sadako before the update at least took a lot of like macro knowledge and skill to perform correctly, or else you just end up people leaving with no hooks, right? It was a juggling act. Now it doesn't require skill, so it doesn't feel as fulfilling to play as, and on Survivor it feels kind of like boring because like, you know, it didn't feel like they earned it either. So it's kind of just like
was literally on the verge of
yes, and Sadako counters items because like as a flashbang saver, I can't do anything. Because like Either because like the tapes count as a special item, so I can't carry my flashbang, and she slugs to condemn, so I can't save. It's just like aggravating.
Quitting. As a survivor, the only way to not die in this situation was to try and escape through the hatch, because the hatch doesn't make traps trigger. And so, theoretically, if you had about 2 or 3 gens left and the entire team was actually working on them at the same time, you could deny the pig what she thought was a guaranteed kill.
Can you hear anything?
I find
Where?
metal wagon.
Yeah, it spins
Oh,
on
the
me.
car. You mean the car? Yeah. There it is. Bro, honestly, I could barely hear it. Well, I guess that's how you did it. There you go. But like, the thing is that we had only 1 gen left. Imagine if you had to go through like 4 or like maybe all 5. Yeah, like I don't think you would be able to make it because the timer is just too fast. By the way, people, we've still got like half of the killer roster to go. I've already started making plans for the Myers and Clown videos.
Ooh, the
and
Myers
soon
one's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be showcasing all of their versions too. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to drop me a sub
What you should.
right now. Like,
What you should.
literally
Right this second.
fucking
Yeah, do it now.
Behavior is gonna nerve the pig even more or something. Another annoying
Thanks for me.
aspect of the old traps was that they didn't allow survivors to escape through the exit gates even if they were inactive. Because as soon as they passed through the doorway, the trap triggered and instantly killed them as if the timer just ran out.
Lore fitting. Lore
Attach the
fitting.
Trap.
Not particularly fun though.
Now you need to wiggle. You need to wiggle. Wait, what?
Yeah, lore-wise, this is cool. Gameplay-wise, probably not.
I hear the beeping sound, but like nothing's
Whoa.
happening. Well, I guess it's gonna kill you when you wiggle off. Let's see, let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Cool in concept, not in practice.
Are you gonna die? Yeah. Well, bad luck, bro.
So if you went down to a pig during the
Endgame
end game
build?
and she happened to have
Interesting.
1 extra
What's wrong with
trap
her
for
ears?
you, your chances of surviving were slim. Because even if you somehow powered through her tunnel, you would still have to do the trap before you could escape, and at that point she knew where to look for you. Reverse bear traps aside, the original pig had several more features that made her look better compared to her modern version. For example, she had a smaller terror radius of 28 meters. I know that by today's standards it might seem weird, because normally a small terror radius is something that you would expect from slow killers like the Huntress. But in the case with the pig, I think it was justified, considering that she was designed to be a stealth killer.
Yeah.
Next, until patch 3.1.0, the pig's ambush attacks were considered basic attacks, which means that by performing them, she could
really
take
good.
advantage of such perks
That's
as
really good.
Franklin's demise, sloppy butcher, yada yada yada. But
No, that means it won't apply. You couldn't use save with her though. Is that a worthwhile trade, do you think? Like getting sloppy jolt and stuff? Like, is that like worth losing save? It's a good question. It's a good question. I'll let you guys answer.
most importantly, Noed.
Whoa, don't go, wait, we're testing Noed.
Oh, Noed? Yeah, Noed. I didn't even think about Noed. You're right. Yeah.
One shot.
Yeah.
I guess it was a basic attack. And on top of it,
And
the
Devour,
release
yeah.
version of the pig had
I was omitting a lot
faster
of perks in my
speedboat
brain.
carrying
Yes, it
survivors
is.
on her shoulder. It was 3.85 meters per second, which is about 4% faster than other killers. Unfortunately, though, it was not intended. The thing is that the pig's code was mostly copy-pasted from the Huntress out of all killers. And since her movement speed is
Why?
4.4 meters per second, she uses a special modifier that makes her carry survivors at the same speed as her 4.6 counterparts. And so when the devs were pushing the pig on the live servers, they simply forgot to remove this modifier in order to adjust for the fact that she was actually a 4.6 killer. Therefore, for almost 2 years, pig players could benefit from this oversight, even though most of them probably didn't even realize it.
Now I'll just do
That's
the same
so
thing.
weird.
Just pick me up and like carry
That's
me
so
around the map.
weird. That's so bizarre, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can tell the difference. I mean, 4% bonus is not that fast, but like...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know how to measure it properly.
Most of the add-ons the pig had at the release weren't super different from what they do today. 6 of them, namely Shattered Syringe, Utility Blades, Face Mask, Slow Release Toxin, Amanda's Secret, and Rule Set Number 2 had exactly the same properties, except for Rule Set Number 2 used to be ultra rare. 6 more had slightly different values. Among them are Combat Straps, which used to make crouching and uncrouching faster in order to account for how slow these animations used to be by default. Rusty Attachments, which used to apply Mangle not not only to injured but also healthy survivors. Not sure if there was any point in this, considering that Mangle
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute.
speed penalty
I'm like,
but
huh?
apparently was a thing. Bag of Gears, which used to provide a lower speed bonus to the trap setting animation. Crate of Gears, which used to give a higher penalty to the Jigsaw box surge speed. Amanda's Ladder, which used to have a smaller aura reading range, reduced the number of traps by 3 and the number
Amanda's
of
Ladder's
Jigsaw
still not
boxes
that
by
great,
2.
so that's really
Most
bad.
importantly, Tempered Timer. Originally, this
For
add-on used to
takeaways.
speed
Haha,
up the
there
trap
you go.
death timer by a whooping 30 seconds. This is 10 seconds faster than in the live version, and considering that by default traps take 2 minutes and 30 seconds to trigger, survivors had only 120 seconds to find the right Jigsaw box.
That's
Having to
really
deal
good.
with this add-on was pretty butt-clenching
I'm about to say,
even on
that's-
its own. And
that's
now
really
imagine
good.
what it was like if the pig also brought an extra
Tempered Timer's
Jigsaw
still
box
great.
add-on or something else that
It's
had
still
synergy
a very
with
good
Tempered Timer.
add-on on
Can I
here.
make it? Can I make it? Can I make it? Please, please, please.
Much
please.
less back then.
Let's just fast forward this one. No, I'm not gonna make it, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, well, I was in the middle of it. And like, you have to understand that I had like more time than in a real match. Because in a real match, I just wouldn't be able to run from one box to another safely because the killer would always be in the way. The remaining 8 add-ons had either completely different effects or the effects that today can be found in other add-ons. John's medical file used to increase the charge speed of ambush attacks. Interlocking razor used to increase the penalty after missed jigsaw box skill checks.
That add-on's so dumb. So like people like, I get it because there's certain add-ons that are made to like punish new players, which I already think is kind of a dumb design. But like, and like it's just a dumb like let's tackle that. That's a dumb design from the top to the bottom. Let's have add-ons that punish new players but do just jack all nothing to experienced players. That's just, you're making new players miserable, want to quit, and then it's just useless against good players. That is just not good design. It's just not. It just anyways.
Grease and razor wires used to increase the frequency of Jigsaw box skill checks. Last Will used to give 1 extra trap. Jigsaw's annotated plan and Jigsaw sketch used to spawn extra Jigsaw boxes. And videotape used to increase the charge speed of ambush attacks and decrease the cooldown after
I remember
missed
this.
ambush attacks.
I remember
All in
that.
all, the original
I
Pig was a
remember.
bit of a disappointment. At least for those who were expecting to get an actual game-changing killer. Almost immediately after her release, the DBD forums and socials were flooded with an insane amount of comments pointing out that her
I don't
power
think
was a
so,
joke
Plum.
and that
I don't
the
think
devs
so.
had to
But I
do
haven't-
something in order to get
I
her
haven't
to
run
a
this on Pig
somewhat
ever.
playable level. However, none of the community's complaints were heard, and for about a year, with the exception of some minor bug fixes, the Pig remained practically unchanged. But surprisingly,
It
during this
should
time, her
no,
popularity
no. You know me. Yeah, no. It shouldn't, Plum. No. That would be very, very annoying and obnoxious and unhealthy for the game. No. No, that would be
it
very
didn't
unhealthy.
diminish even in the slightest. Not sure if it was something about her design or gameplay, or maybe the fact that she made it possible for killers to teabag for the first time in the history of DBD. But one thing was clear: people really didn't want her to fail like many of her predecessors.
Can you do like the oink sound? Yeah, there you go. That's ladies and gentlemen, what you do if you're too lazy to teabag. That's like another way of BMing.
Unfortunately, the only tool Pigmates
Well, that's
had
'cause
to help
Pig is,
their
like,
favorite
bottom
character
five in the
stay
game.
relevant was
He's not very good, that's
camping.
why.
But hey, at least it was something the Pig was actually good at. Because her stealth ability didn't only allow her to intercept survivors of the hook, but also very conveniently
Yeah, because BT, borrowed time, used to only function if you were in the terror radius. So stealth killers could just camp because they were undetectable. Great design. And this includes lullaby killers. So you have Freddy. Freddy's were turbo tunnelers too, because like you don't have a terror radius in the fucking thing. You don't. You don't have a terror radius, so you could just tunnel people. It's great.
one of the most powerful anti-tunneling perks survivors had at that time, namely borrowed time. The thing is that before patch 4.7.0, it used to activate only if the survivor was unhooked within the killer's terror radius.
Yep.
And because Pig's stealth
Right,
ability
rest
lets her completely get rid of her terror radius, borrowed time was completely useless against her. It was especially frustrating considering that literally a month after Pig's release, this perk was reworked into having an unlimited number of uses per match, which was supposed to de-incentivize camping and tunneling. Damn, the devs were f***ing naive. As I've already
Naive?
mentioned, the first year for the pig was really rough. Basically, there were only 2 updates which fixed the bugs causing her to volt slower than other killers and have a louder footstep audio. But even these changes happened not because the devs wanted to help the pig specifically, but rather because the vaulting and footstep bugs were both common issues for a number of killers.
Yeah, I was about to
Behavior
say,
just bulk
this
fixed
was a
them in
common
patches
problem.
2.0,
It wasn't just a pig problem.
and 2.3.0. In the early 2019, the pig received her first set of more or
there
less
is
substantial
interesting.
updates. Patch
What was that?
5.0 made her crouching animation almost 1 second faster and reduced her terror radius fade out after crouching to 4 seconds.
nice
It
mega.
wasn't exactly groundbreaking, but at least now the game didn't punish the pig for using her basic mechanics.
Come on, crouch. Uncrouch. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I know that it's supposed to be faster, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, bro.
Hey,
Also, in
isn't
this
that a
patch-
weird sight to actually see loops on Haddonfield? And not just me hump window? Isn't that interesting? Actually playing pallets and stuff like that? You guys remember doing that on Haddonfield? Insane concept, I
Terror
know.
radius was increased to 32 meters in order to standardize it to that of other 4.6 killers, and in my opinion, it was one of her most undeserved nerfs ever. Later in the spring of the same year, along with the introduction of the endgame collapse behavior,
Window
made it so
field. I'm
that
gonna
pig's
call it that
traps
now.
no
I
longer kill survivors when
like
attempting to
that.
escape
I like
through
that.
the
It's a
exit
window
gates. This
field.
was achieved by making gen completion to be the only condition for activating the trap.
You die, there are
timer.
all windows
In
now.
other
Yep,
words,
good old window
starting from
field.
Patch 2.7.0,
I'm taking that, that's funny.
trapping survivors after the endgame collapse was initiated
field.
became
That's
entirely
good.
pointless, because at that point all it was good for was just farming some extra deviousness points.
About to wiggle off. Alright, let's check that. Yeah, it's safe. I can get out.
This of course didn't apply to survivors trapped before the last gen was
I
finished.
just had a really good idea. What if we turn the houses into loops? So like, let's think about like the double window vault house, like right now, the one that like the demon, the one that's causing issues, right? Double window vault house, right? What if we block both the windows downstairs and just put like a pallet over in that over like in like where that like little kitchen area is? Doesn't have to be a god pallet, but it could be a pallet. And then like if you want to play like the stairwell, you can go you can like, you know, run upstairs, vault out the window upstairs. Or do it vice versa. Like have like one of the like, you know, there's the single vault window house where like the kitchen window doesn't have a vault and it's just like the dining room window vault. Have the pallet upstairs and then just have that dining room vault downstairs. So if you want to loop normally, you got to go upstairs, but if you want to, you know, use the window, you got to come down. I agree with that also, zombie. That'd be a way to make the game more fun. The meatpacking play more fun as well. Standard loops like with a roof? Yeah, kind of stinky.
Before the end
Or
game
more in line
collapse,
with
and
it, at
going
least.
through the doorway would still make their head explode. And don't get me wrong, at its core it was a healthy change, because now during the end game, pig's traps did make survivors want to rage quit and format their PC. But on the other hand, it was already the second time the devs took something away from the already weak pig without giving anything in return. This tendency continued in patch 3.1.0, where the pig's ambush attack lost its status as a basic attack, which ultimately removed its synergy.
Yeah, and then
with
you
a
could make
huge amount
the
of
street
popular perks.
not as wide once you
Okay,
make
hold up,
actual
hold up,
loops in the houses.
No, hold up. Well, yeah, they nerfed it. Doesn't work with ambush attacks anymore.
In patch
Which is a
3.2.1, the
good thing,
developers
all things
finally
considered.
removed the extra speed modifier for carrying survivors from the pig's code and matched her carrying speed to that of other killers. And even though she was never supposed to have the increased carrying speed in the first place, taking it away from her was technically still a nerf.
Yeah.
And at that point, the pig became a meme. You know how people spam nerf pig whenever they see behavior post literally anything on their socials?
Yep.
That's when this joke originated, as an attempt to draw the devs' attention reversion to the disastrous state the pig was in. Basically, since patch 2.5.0 and all the way to 5.3.0, the pig had only two positive changes. The first one adjusted the speed curves for crouching and uncrouching, and the second updated her stealth mode with the undetectable status effect, making her immune to aura reading perks while
Garden of
crouching.
Joy main?
Next, in late 2021,
Well, they have
the pig received
the
an
Garden
add-on pass
of Joy main actually has a lot of like windows upstairs. It's just people only use the one where the gen spawns. There's actually multiple windows up there that people don't use. So it's interesting.
working about half of her add-ons. And honestly, people, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, it was cool that the pig finally got some attention from the devs, but at the same time, I can't say that the new add-ons got me very excited, because I just don't see the global idea behind them. To me, most of them seem like a random pile of properties and prerequisites that I just can't figure out how to marry up with each other. Not that it was much different before the rework, but at least back then there was still hope that the devs would do something cool about the old add-ons in the future. But now this hope is gone.
Yeah, that
because
gun
this
window's
future
gotta
is
go.
already here,
Or at least
and
put a
it's
brick
not
wall
very
next to it or
bright.
something.
Along with the add-on pass, the game was expanded with the Hour of the Witch DLC, which introduced the infamous boon totems. And take a wild guess what could go wrong here. Of course, snuffing them absolutely had to break the pig out of her stealth. It's like, dude, at this point, is there anything the devs can do that wouldn't result in the pig becoming even weaker? The biggest change the pig had so far came out in patch 6.0.0, which reworked the key finding logic. Now there were 12 guaranteed box searches split between 4 reverse bear traps, which on the one hand made it so that survivors could no longer remove them too fast, leaving you without your power for the rest of the match, and on the other hand prevented the situations where each trap would make survivors go through all 4 jigsaw boxes. Speaking of which, there were now 5 of them, with the 4th one always guaranteeing survivors the key for their trap. This change made it impossible for the pig to body block the last box and thus force a bear trap kill.
Yeah, which was
and
dumb.
once again, even though this change was 100% justified, it was yet another nerf. About 7 months ago, the devs finally acknowledged the problem with the
It did the thing again. There we go.
inconsistency of the pig's ambush mode and
Why does it do that?
made her remain crouched and keep the suppressed terror radius after snuffing boon totems. I wouldn't recommend quoting me on this, but I think it was also during this period that she was allowed to search lockers without leaving the ambush mode. And as far as I know, right now
Thanks,
there's
YouTube.
only
It's
one
just
action
Firefox,
which still
honestly.
makes the pig automatically uncrouch and have the terror radius back, which is opening the exit gates.
Oh,
I've never noticed that.
pig?
I've never noticed that. Never knew this.
Well, yeah, it
I've learned today.
automatically made you get up. So basically it just reveals your terror radius, which is weird.
Improved stealth was definitely a nice feature, and I seriously want to believe that this buff was just the first step towards making the pig an actually viable killer that would be interesting to play both as and against. But let's just face it, at this point, even having Demogorgon back is a more likely scenario than this.
Yeah, I think
Stealth was definitely
like I said, middle of the video. I think the thing that would be like the most helpful for Pig now in this current state was like honestly her the hat's power is in a perfectly functional state. I think. So I think like the hats are fine. Hats are perfect. I think if you want to make her not bottom 5 at this point, you should start looking at her stealth and her M2 and making it more advantageous for her to use. And then perhaps she will climb up into like, C tier, low B tier, if she could actually like, and a lot of it is like quality of life stuff, It doesn't have to be like major buffs or major reworks to her power. Just do a lot of quality of life things to make her stealth better and her dash better. And honestly, that's enough. Take away the 5th box, yeah, but I don't really want the people camping the box thing back. So yeah, there's a lot of quality of life stuff you can do to buff her that would not make her obnoxious, which would be great, honestly. So yeah, I think that's how I would honestly put the pig in a good spot. And honestly, like Cozy was saying, it's very, very unlikely pig will get like a rework. So honestly, just adjusting some numbers on some things would probably be the easiest route to do that as well. So it's the most likely scenario.